if you stretch a standard speaker wire across like an 80,000-seat stadium, by the time that audio actually reaches the other side, it is going to sound like a whisper through a tin can.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, physics is just actively trying to kill the audio at that distance.
Right. So welcome to your custom deep dive. Today, we are looking at a highly specialized piece of commercial audio hardware from an HDTV supply source. We're talking about the QSC IT-42 Isolation Transformer.
Yeah, which is built specifically for the QSC CX302 amplifier.
Exactly. And our mission today is to figure out exactly what this invisible workhorse does, why it's built for that specific amp, and, how it elegantly solves these massive audio engineering problems without eating up any extra room.
Right, because distributed commercial audio is, well, it is ultimately a battle against natural electrical resistance. The IT-42 steps in to enable the CX302 amplifier to drive two 25, 70, or 100-volt distributed lines.
And that's in stereo or parallel.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Or if you need massive output, it can push a single 140 or 200-volt line in bridged mono operation.
Okay, let's unpack this because, we know the CX302 is already pushing out some serious raw power on its own.
Oh, for sure. It's a beast.
But throwing like 100-volt lines into the mix, that requires some really specific translation. Think of it like a heavy-duty truck transmission. So the amplifier is the engine, but the transformer is the gearbox.
Right, the gearbox that safely translates all that raw power.
Exactly. Just like a truck drops into a lower gear to trade speed for, like, raw towing torque, the IT-42 acts as a gearbox that trades high current for high voltage. So it can basically haul these massive varied loads across thousands of feet of wire without just blowing a gasket.
What's fascinating here is the bigger picture of how those distributed audio lines actually function. When you step up the voltage to those 70 or 100-volt lines, you are proportionally lowering the current.
Which is the key to the whole thing.
Yeah, it is huge. By keeping the current low, you drastically minimize the power loss that is caused by the natural resistance of those incredibly long copper wires.
So that is how clear audio actually travels across, say, a massive, sprawling airport without degrading.
Right. Without that voltage step up, it would just turn into a static mess before it even reached the speakers.
Okay, so that makes perfect sense for the physics of it. But if I am an AV installer dealing with the commercial system, my immediate concern with gear that translates massive voltage is the footprint.
Oh, yeah. Rack space is premium real estate in this industry.
Exactly. You would logically assume that a heavy-duty gearbox like this is incredibly bulky.
Yeah.
That it needs its own expensive server rack space. But here's where it gets really interesting. It doesn't.
It completely avoids being a space hog.
Yes. It literally mounts directly to the back of the CX302 amplifier itself. It requires absolutely zero additional rack space.
Which is just brilliant physical design. I mean, every inch saved directly impacts the installer's bottom line.
And speaking of the economics, it's pretty solid. The source lists it at $362, and you even get a 5% discount if you use a wire transfer.
That is pretty competitive for this level of commercial mirror.
Not bad at all. But the detail that really stands out to me is the warranty. It ships with a standard 3-year factory warranty, but that jumps to 6 years simply by registering the product online.
Wow, a jump from 3 to 6 years just for registering. That definitely speaks to their confidence in the hardware's lifespan.
Yeah, you don't offer 6 years on something that breaks easily.
True. But, speaking of the hardware itself, there is a curious, highly modern detail in the source specs. It notes that this physical transformer ships with the latest firmware.
Wait, hold on. I have to push back there. A physical analog isolation transformer has firmware. How does that even work?
I know, it sounds totally counterintuitive, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I thought these transformers were basically just massive coils of copper wire doing the heavy lifting.
Well, they are. The massive copper coils handle the physics of the voltage translation, but it reminds us that even highly specialized analog gear does not exist in a vacuum anymore.
So what is the firmware actually doing then?
Basically, modern systems require deep integration. Having firmware ensures that this rugged analog hardware can accurately interface with the amplifier's digital monitoring and fault protection networks.
I see. So it is analog muscle, but it's being governed by a digital brain.
Exactly. It needs to talk to the rest of the 21st century rack.
That perfectly bridges the gap.
Yeah.
So ultimately, the QSC IT-42 acts as this highly efficient, space-saving, power-translating bridge for complex audio systems.
Yeah, it really is the crucial piece of hardware quietly working behind the walls to stop the laws of physics from ruining the experience.
It definitely is. which leaves you with something provocative to ponder. The next time you are walking through a massive stadium or a sprawling airport and you hear those crystal clear, perfectly synchronized announcements, look up.
And just wonder about the invisible transformers pushing that sound.
Exactly. Wonder what invisible space-saving gear is quietly working behind the walls to push that audio across thousands of feet of wire. And, as venues increasingly move toward fully wireless, IP-based audio networks, will heavy-duty physical transformers like this eventually become a relic of the past?
Or will raw, wired analog power always be the undisputed king of massive stadium sound?
Definitely something to keep in mind the next time you are at a game.